Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode. Today, we're doing something different. We're chatting to the one and only legendary rugby guy. Jarryd, thank you so much for joining us. How are you feeling today?
Feeling very good. Wearing my champion shirt over here. No, thank you very much for having me.
Have you been benching today, mate? You're looking good in that shirt.
Guilty as charged. Every day is an arm day. Every day is an arm day and a chest day.
Nothing new.
And a chest day. So yeah, I've got really small legs. That's why it's quite good that we're up top.
Yeah, I really hope to look like him one day.
Yeah, geez, he's my hero.
But yeah, we were guessing what shirt you would wear because it seems like every day you're wearing a new shirt. But I think you chose well.
Yes, I thought you guys are South African. I'm South African when they win. So why not? And they haven't lost. They haven't lost since the World Cup final. So definitely South African.
And you're a quarter Scottish as well, hey?
I'm 1/8 pretty much every country going. It just depends who's winning. Well, they never win, so no.
Yeah.
I did actually play rugby in Italy, so I could speak a bit of ciao. But that's about it. So 1/8 pretty much everything. There's about 12 nations that I'm 1/8. If that makes sense.
That's amazing. That must be like a one of a kind, eh?
Yeah. Maths, to be fair, was never. I was never very good at maths.
Okay, so I think a lot of people who follow you don't know that you actually are from South Africa. So we would love to hear more about your South African background, where you went to school, where in South Africa you were from, where you grew up, and when you moved over.
Sure. So, do you want me to just start?
Just
from the beginning. So
from the beginning.
I was born. I was 6 pounds. No, I'm only messing. So I grew up in Tableview. Do you know Tableview? Yeah. So I grew up in Tableview, went to junior school in Tableview, and then ended up going to Sax. I was playing rugby. I mean, but not seriously at Tableview, but quite a funny story. I was playing for the B team, under 13 B team, and I was playing prop at the time. More of a 10/15 now, but was playing prop at the time, and the trials, the Western Province trials for that level was only for the 18 players, and the prop dropped out last minute. And you know how it is. Like the biggest guy, you're the biggest guy on the team. You'll be a good prop. So he dropped out at the last minute, and I ended up scoring like 4 tries and making it to. Made it the furthest for Tableview, and then
I'm not surprised, to be fair. So
with my gas, mate, my gas, and then ended up a couple of schools took a look at me, and I decided to stay at Tableview for 1 more year in high school, and then ended up going to Sax, and then played for Sax, and then ended up after Sax. My final year was disappointing, really, because I picked up a couple of injuries. And because I had a great 11 year.
If I didn't get injured.
Pretty much. But I played first team grade 11, grade 12, but in grade 12 I was centre.
Oh, okay. There we go. The true colours.
No, genuinely. I know I joke about it, but I was like a mix between 6 and centre. And then so grade 12 I picked up a few injuries, and but anyway, I still got invited to the Western Province Academy, and just decided, you know what, I just want to get away. My mom's English, my dad's South African, so I had a British passport. Decided to just it was as simple as I just put my rugby CV on the internet, and you get scouted by a few budget teams, really, and I just picked the one that was the closest to the sea, and in England. And here I am today.
So where did you play when you moved to England?
So I played in South Devon for a team called Paynton.
Okay.
Paynton, and then Paynton, a team next to it. So Brixham, they got promoted. They were in the same league, and they went into the National League. So I joined them. And then I ended up playing in Italy, going and getting a professional contract in Italy. Not sure you can call it that because it's Italy.
Yeah.
And then
where was that?
That was in Udine, which, do you know the football side, Udinese?
Yeah.
Oh, not sure. Well, yeah. So
what's that sport, bro?
Yeah, I know. Ridiculous. So we were the big wigs over there because it was rugby. So that broke my collarbone twice out there. Didn't really get to play. Came back and played over here. And that's when the whole Rugby Guy thing picked up. I was jobless, fell into a job, worked in a warehouse, and worked my way up. So.
Wow. So am I correct in saying that what actually moved you abroad was you wanted to pursue a rugby career, and then the best opportunity was abroad?
I wouldn't say I would say I was a decent rugby player in under 15. I was at Sax under 15 captain, under 16 captain, first team 2 years in a row. So I was a good player, but I wanted to take a year out, and the plan was to come back. Varsity Cup wasn't around at that time, but I wanted to come back, play for UCT, and study. But I met people over here, and just decided that that was the way. That was just what I wanted to do. But rugby was always my passion, and until I had my children, which was about 27, I was always passionate about becoming a professional rugby player. But it never happened, partly because I wasn't good enough, partly because of injuries. It never happened, and I'm happy with that. Was it the dream? I think it's everyone's dream, especially growing up in South Africa, to play for professional rugby. So yeah, it was the dream, but I'm now a full-time dad.
Yeah, no,
and I'm happy with that.
That's awesome. We've seen a lot of the videos. You've got some talented kids there.
Yeah, they've got a great coach. Really good coach.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please do.
So I would just like you to help convince the masses. I played a season in Rotherham in National 1. So if you could just convince the masses that Rotherham is one of the best places to live in England, beautiful town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really.
That's all we need to see.
Honestly, if I'm gonna speak about Rotherham, wow. I can't even put it into words. Just so
I did live in Barnsley for 2 weeks. Is that any better? Or
Barnsley? To be honest, I've never been to Rotherham or Barnsley, so I have no idea.
I think you've done well there, mate. Just skip right past
it. Is it? Yeah, really bad. See, I'm lucky. It's South Devon down here, so right by the sea. Lovely.
Yeah.
Also, National 1, pretty impressive.
Yeah, I played for them the year after they got relegated from the Championship, and now they're in National 2. So.
Oh, cool.
My legacy lives on.
What position? I can imagine a wing or a fullback, like myself.
I like to dabble. I like to consider myself like an Antoine Dupont type.
Yeah.
Very, very quick from the base. So I think more of a 9. Strong pass off both sides. Yeah.
And imagine you at 9 and me at 10. Oh, devastating.
Stop it.
Well, Mark's actually an international rugby player. He plays for Germany.
Stop it.
You play for Germany?
Yeah. For real?
Is that a real thing? You can play for Germany?
Did you know Germany played rugby?
Absolutely no idea. But
for real.
Well done. Hey, at least you can brag about that. You're an international rugby player.
Yeah.
Even more impressive, he played against Samoa. Oh, that was cool.
I just speaking on my legacy, when I played for Germany, we were in the Six Nations B, and now we're in the Six Nations C. So I just leave.
You kept them up there.
Yeah,
as soon as you left,
I leave a trail of just absolute legendariness behind me.
So why don't you go back and try and get them back into the Six Nations again? Do Germany actually play rugby, or was this
for real? Bro, we almost made the World Cup. We lost to Samoa, and then we lost to Canada, and we would have been the 21st team in the World Cup. But now things are a bit tough politically and financially. Right. Injuries. So
it's a real sport in Germany.
Wow. This is my claim to fame, is that I got my shoulder dislocated from Chris Vui. I was trying to steal the ball at the ruck, and Chris Vui came and dislocated my shoulder. So his career has taken off since then, and mine's stagnated.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you went to Sax, you said. Can you tell us a little bit about, because obviously Schoolboy Rugby is really huge in SA. Would you mind giving us, I don't know how involved you've been in Schoolboy Rugby in England, but have you noticed quite a big difference in the Schoolboy Rugby here in comparison to there?
If I'm honest with you, I've not really had anything to do with Schoolboy Rugby in England, but what I will say is nothing can beat Schoolboy Rugby in South Africa, and that's a fact. having gone through it, it's just that's, if I had to say what do I miss most about going to school in South Africa, it was the rugby games, the camaraderie, the togetherness, the war cries, that everything about school rugby in South Africa is just on another level to any other country, in my opinion. And again, I haven't been to any school games over here, but I just don't think any other country comes close.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's nice for us to hear, because it makes us feel a little bit better, I suppose.
Yeah,
but and it's little things like you go you'd have a half day on a Friday.
Yeah.
Because they'd take you into the hall so you can practice your sing songs for Saturday. It was compulsory. You know, as a first team player, you get people coming and it wasn't a chore. People wanted to carry your bags to the next lesson. That's how.
Did you play first team for Sax? You haven't mentioned that.
So first team for Sax in grade 11,
so 2 years
grade 12. Yeah, it might have even been grade 10 actually, but. So not a big deal. No, but I mean, it really is. They mention your name in assembly, and they stand you up one by one, and everyone's cheering. Is just unbelievable. But then again, I did it in South Africa, and I have emotional attachments to schoolboy rugby in South Africa. So I don't think anyone comes close.
That's awesome. Yeah, we actually grew up close to you. We from Durbanville, and for those.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, all the wine farms.
Nice.
And for those watching, it's literally like 10 kilometers away, very close.
Yeah.
We went to Fairmont, which is a fairly small rugby school, but we had some good games, I think, in there.
We had fun.
Where is Fairmont? Is it close to Sax?
No. It's in
see, there's it. Oh, it is in Durbanville. No, there's a school close. Hey, man, my memory's gone. It's been like 13 years since I've been back. Yeah, no, I did play first team for Sax 2 years in a row. Yeah, if you're asking. Oh man, no. So it was in Durbanville. Yeah, no, I did. I heard about the school. So were you guys any good?
Well, Mark was good. He's playing varsity cup at the moment. I retired after school. I officially retired. Yeah.
Why is that?
Wanted to focus on more important things, academics and things like that.
And stuff. Yeah, sure.
No, the bigger reason, I was probably a little bit scared after.
Injuries and
but the real reason is I just had enough, and I just wanted to more get into the other side of the sport. I did a bit of coaching and so on. But no, as you said, schoolboy rugby in SA, absolute privilege to be a part of. We weren't in the Super League, but we played some Super League teams, which was really cool, like Selborne College, one or two others. So really a big privilege. Being a Sax boy, what were some of like the highlights, the biggest matches against other schoolboy rugby teams for you guys?
The highlights would probably be I was one of those players that when you went to a Rondebosch, a Bishops, a Sax, some of the players were scared of the bigger schools like your Paul Gyms, your Paul Roosters, your Boland Landbows. But for me, those were the most exciting fixtures. Yes, we lost by 50 points most of the time.
Did you give them the captain's speech, boys? If we keep it under 50, we can still go out tonight.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, no, those were always for me. Those were always the toughest, but the most enjoyable for me. But then the rivalries like the Rondebosches and the Bishops. Again, Bishops at the time were just unbelievable. So they would normally put 40, 50 points on us. And then Rondebosch, I mean, are Rondebosch even in the A-League? I don't know. Are they?
Mate, Rondebosch, have you heard of them?
Super League or that's absolute rubbish. Same as Weinberg.
Weinberg, sorry.
Yeah, no, never heard of them. No, but those were always good battles because they were so close. And you look back on it now and you think, why were we like that? But everyone hated each other. Everyone did. If you went to Rondebosch, I hated you just because you went to Rondebosch. But now you look back at it and you go, how ridiculous was that? That's not rugby at all, but that's how it is. You get so into it.
You must have been a really good player if you played first team for 2 years at Sax, because I mean, just to make the first team in Sax is a pretty big deal. So you were obviously up there.
Yeah, well, I guess at the time, did I mention I played for Sax?
Percy Montgomery, all the legends.
Yeah, he's my best friend. Whatever. I'm going to be honest. We didn't have the strongest Sax side of all time. It was back 2005, 2006. We were still Super League, as they call it. But yeah, I guess I was an okay player. But again, we weren't smashing teams, so nothing too big time.
Did you play against any Springboks? Like, who were the guys you played against that went on to have big careers?
Francois Hougaard was one that stood out. Frans Steyn was another one.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we played against him. We went to a festival and he was there.
Great college.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Not, to be honest, I could have played against a few more, but just you don't recognise them at the time. You're so focused on your own school. And but Francois Hougaard was always one through the age groups, because even when he was injured, he was by the side of the pitch practicing his passing. He's a pretty
good looking bloke. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah. He's a good rugby player. He's got a great body. He's a good looking bloke. Makes me think
one to know one. So.
Takes one to know.
Yeah, exactly.
We also love to hear a little bit more about what you're doing now in rugby. You've got a huge social media following, which we all really enjoy. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what actually gave you the idea to start this page and what's sort of behind it?
Sure. So, like I mentioned earlier, I ended up playing professional rugby in Italy, and I came back after breaking my collarbone twice. Pretty soon after, I only played 2 games out there in 6 months, and I came back and I didn't have a job. So I was very fortunate that a guy in my team, his father owned a very popular online retailer, rugby retailer, which I'm sure everyone knows who it is. And I got a job in the warehouse. So I started working in the warehouse, and then a couple of years went by and I moved up to returns. So anytime you send something back, I was the one who sorted it out. There we go.
Big time.
There we go. And so one day it was at a time where video wasn't used that much on social media for advertising, but you were starting to get into it, and they brought in a production company just to kick things off. They brought in a few actors, and they needed some people just from around the building to act as extras. So I was like, yeah, I'll go in and have a bit of fun. And I went in, and the production company were like, well, why pay loads of money for the actors when you have someone right there? And so I carried on working in returns and started doing video stuff for them. They were very bad. I look back at them now and I go, what on earth was I doing? But yeah, so then that progressed a little. Well, it didn't progress, but I did more and more videos. And the guy who was running the marketing side, a friend of mine, Jack, he went on holiday and they had no one to fill in. So they were like, well, you do the videos. Do you fancy giving it a go? And I went in and again, they liked what I did. So that stuck. And then it was actually a guy on the football side who said, well, he was talking about the football side, but he was like, hang on, we pay a lot of money for influencers. Why don't we just create our own on the football side? So we had a discussion and I was like, yeah, that's a really good idea. There's literally no one doing it in the rugby market. I can do that. I'm already doing the videos. I'm already doing the photos. I'd like to think I'm a pretty funny guy when it comes down to it. So I set up the page and yeah, then got access through the retail. I got access to loads of ridiculous players. Like some of the access I got is just crazy. And then the page just took off, and now it's on close to hitting 90,000, and I still really can't believe it. It's a bit crazy, but I love doing it. I've always, from a young age, I've enjoyed making people laugh and making people smile, and I hope that's what that page does. That's what I aim to do with that page: make people laugh, make people smile.
That's so cool. Do you manage to do this full time now?
So yes, as from probably 6 months ago, it's now a full-time job.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's not
awesome.
it's not just I don't like the word influencer, because I immediately think of people trying to sell me loads of fake stuff, but more of a content creator, and I help other businesses with social media and strategies, and come up with video ideas and content ideas, and that's pretty much what I've been doing for the last 6 months, which is great. I get to spend more time with the family, and it's what I love doing, so can't complain at all.
That's an amazing success story, really. One thing I've been really curious about, Jarryd, is without sounding harsh, I'm just curious, what's happened to the Boot South African accent?
Oh yeah, man. It's no, it's so like I said, I'm in South Devon, and I'm like the only. I'm sure I'm not the only South African, but I'm the only South African that I know in the area, and I have been for some time. I did have a friend, and my accent was a bit stronger, but he's moved to London now, and in London, South Africans hang out with South Africans, and people keep their thick accent because there's South African pubs, South African clubs. You've got the South African shops. Whereas over here, I kind of had to adapt because people didn't understand. People didn't understand me. I remember the first. I turned up to the club, and I was like, "Excuse me, can I please have a packet of chips?" And I'm like looking at them, pointing at them, and she looked at me. She's like, "Don't sell chips here." I was like. And I was so polite. I was like, "Oh, okay, no worries." But over here, they still, most people still think that I have a strong South African accent, which I think is weird because it's over there. I speak to my mom and my sister. Yeah, my mom and my sister are like, "Oh, hello, how are you?" trying to mock me, whereas over here, I'm still very much South African to them.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Do you remember any Afrikaans or some South African slang?
Well, don't do Afrikaans with sax, mate.
Net a bikkie, man. But no, I don't. To be fair, I didn't speak a lot of Afrikaans anyway. I know it was compulsory at school, but I got through on the basics, really.
We didn't either. Don't worry.
Yeah, no,
did you not?
We're horrible.
But I can understand. So if I did an interview with Ibn Etzebeth, Cheslin Colby, and a couple of the other guys. And they started, the idea was probably good for an English player because the sense of humours differ, especially with Afrikaans-speaking South Africans. Because I remember asking Ibn Etzebeth saying, it was quick-fire questions, and I was like, "Who's the best-looking bloke in your side?" And he's like, "I like women." And I'm like, no. I'm just trying to I'm just trying to have some fun here. But then they started talking in Afrikaans as if I wouldn't understand. And I was like, just before they said anything horrible, in Afrikaans, I was like, I do, ek praat 'n bietjie Afrikaans. And they were like, oh yeah, cool. Yeah.
Okay, cool. No, that's nice to hear. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, thanks for having me. It was loads of fun.
Yeah, we can't wait to see what other national teams you represent, and we can't wait to see you in the starting lineup for the Lions tour.
Yeah.
Just
think of us when you score that winning try.
I'm not all about scoring tries. It's all about the team for me. So if it comes down to it, I might slot a drop kick from 60 meters out. But we'll see. I'll still remember you guys.
Okay. Thank you so much,
cheers,
and catch you next time.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Cheers, guys.